The room was full of noise, boots scraping across the wooden floor, metal chairs clattering, and a group of elite soldiers joking loudly as they waited for the briefing to begin. They were America's toughest Delta Force operators, men who had seen the worst the world had to offer without blinking. But when a wheelchair rolled into the room, pushed by a quiet young corporal, the noise didn't fade. Why would it? To them, he looked like just another old veteran attending a morale event. Nothing unusual. Nothing remarkable. Just another man in a worn jacket, hands trembling slightly as he placed them on the wheels. But everything changed when Sergeant Mason Hale, the most outspoken operator in the unit, leaned forward and asked with a smirk, "Hey old timer, what was your call sign back in the day?" The old man lifted his eyes, steady, cold, full of something none of them could name, and said just two words. T-10-3. The room went silent instantly. Not because of his age, not because of his disability, but because every man in that room had heard the stories. Whispers, rumors, legend-level tales spoken only in training halls and quiet bunk beds at 0300. Stories of a man whose missions were so classified that even mentioning his involvement required clearance. Titan 3 wasn't just a call sign. Titan 3 was a myth, and now he was sitting right in front of them. What happened next would change how every soldier in that room saw courage, sacrifice, and brotherhood forever. The young corporal guiding the wheelchair felt the tension before anyone said a word. The operators leaned back, eyes fixed on the elderly veteran, trying to connect the frail man before them with the impossible stories they'd heard whispered throughout the special operations world. The old veteran, whose real name no one dared to ask, rested his worn hands on his knees. They were covered in faded scars, each one looking like a memory carved into flesh. His voice wasn't loud, but it carried decades of weight as he slowly said, "I didn't expect anyone here to remember that call sign." No one moved. Even Sergeant Mason, who prided himself on being fearless, felt his throat tighten. The team leader, Captain Reed, stepped forward, trying his best to stay composed. "Sir, if you are who I think you are, then you're more than remembered. You're studied." The veteran gave a tired smile, the kind of smile born from years of surviving things that no man should. He looked around at the elite soldiers, each young, strong, confident, ready to take on the world. And for a moment, he saw himself decades earlier, sitting just like them, full of the same fire they now carried in their eyes. "I'm not here to talk about what I did," the old man said softly. "Most of it can't be spoken about anyway. But we know." Corporal James whispered. "Everyone in special operations knows." The veteran's expression shifted into something deeper, something that seemed to pierce through time itself. "You know the stories," he said, "but not the truth. Stories make men into giants. But we were just soldiers doing what the moment demanded." He paused, a shadow crossing his face as if memories came crashing back. "I wasn't the strongest. Not the fastest, not the smartest. But the mission didn't care. When the call came, you moved. When a teammate fell, you carried him. When hell opened its mouth, you closed it." The room absorbed every word. No one dared interrupt. Then Captain Reed asked the question they were all terrified to ask. "Sir, how did you lose your legs?" Silence fell again, heavier this time. The old veteran took a slow breath. "The last mission I ever ran. A mission where 3 men didn't come home, and I wasn't about to let it be 4. The operators leaned forward, breath held, feeling the gravity of a moment that felt bigger than the room itself. "Tell us," Mason said quietly, all arrogance gone. "Please." The veteran closed his eyes, and the past began to return. He began speaking not like a legend, but like a soldier reliving a day that never truly let go of him. "It was supposed to be simple," he said. "Quick in, quick out. Extraction of a captured intel officer. We'd done missions like that dozens of times. But that night, everything went wrong in seconds." He described the desert air, the suffocating darkness, the silence that seemed to swallow sound. His 3 teammates, Titan 1, Titan 2, Titan 4, were his brothers. They moved like one organism trained for years together. But the enemy ambush came like lightning. Shots tore through the air. Titan 1 fell first. No warning, no chance to react. Titan 2 dragged him behind a wall, only to be hit moments later. Titan 4 kept firing, refusing to leave them behind. And me, the old man said. I kept moving, because that's what was left. His hands trembled slightly as he remembered. We were outnumbered. 20, maybe 30 enemy fighters, no backup, no air support, no extraction window, just us, bleeding in the sand. The Delta operators clenched their jaws. They knew this scenario too well. But the old man lived it. I didn't lose my legs in the blast. He continued. People always assume that. The truth is, I gave them. The soldiers stared, confused. He continued, voice steady. Titan 4 was hit. Couldn't walk. We had a half-mile of open desert between us and the last safe point. If they caught us, they'd take him alive. And I wasn't letting that happen. He swallowed hard, fighting the memories. So I carried him, step after step, bullet after bullet. I carried him until a mortar hit close enough to tear my legs apart. The emotion thickened the air. Corporal James's eyes began to water. Even Mason looked down, jaw tight, fists clenched. I dragged him the last 100 yards. Titan 3 whispered. Not because I was brave, because that's what brothers do. His voice cracked slightly, not from weakness, but from truth. And when the medevac finally arrived, they saved him. He walked again. Had a family. A life. I gave up my legs, but I didn't lose anything. I kept my brother alive. The room stayed completely still. Every operator knew that kind of sacrifice was the purest form of what they were trained for. Captain Reed stepped forward, voice low but full of emotion. Sir, you didn't lose your legs. You earned every inch of the ground you rescued your teammate on. The old man blinked back tears. For the first time, he felt seen. Not as a myth, not as a ghost or a rumor, but as a soldier who had lived through the impossible. Mason approached him, standing tall, then slowly saluted. One by one, every soldier in the room followed. The old veteran hesitated, then returned the salute with a trembling hand. At that moment, no one saw a disabled old man. They saw Titan 3, the legend who never asked for recognition, but deserved every bit of it.